When residents of Massachusetts voted to legalize medical marijuana in 2012, the state set up a plan that would allow for up to 35 dispensaries, with the requirement that each county had at least one. The first round saw 20 licenses granted. While none were granted in Needham, the town decided to be proactive in setting up zoning bylaws to regulate the process. A first attempt in 2014 failed to get the two-thirds required vote at town meeting. So the planning board has revised their proposal and will hold a public hearing on January 20th to discuss the article. At their meeting on Tuesday, January 13th, the Board of Selectmen had a chance to provide their input.
The way the process works is that the applicants go to the state before they come to us. So if we don't say what our expectations are before the application process begins, we end up being confronted, if someone is successful at the state level, with a kind of a take it or leave it, because the application actually includes the proposed locations.
One way to regulate and narrow those locations is with the proposed zoning bylaws. Selectman Mo Handel wants to see a differentiation made between two parts of the medical marijuana business.
I think from a land use perspective, manufacturing and retail are two very different uses. And I view the production piece of this as manufacturing. So I would support that distinction in the zoning.
The manufacturing of medical marijuana brings its own set of issues, one of which has to do with aesthetics.
I think what's going to happen in the manufacturing process, I mean, from what I understand, is you're looking at big windowless facilities where the environment is all controlled. I mean, that's a very different box kind of look that also has other implications.
Setting up zoning will also provide a significant buffer from schools, playgrounds, and other areas where children are present.
It makes sense to have some type of zoning in place, because with this, we're looking at 1,000 feet versus 500 feet if there were no zoning.
Selectman Dan Matthews expresses his support for the amended zoning and points out the drawback to there being no zoning.
I think it meets some of the criticisms that were raised and hopefully allows a compromise that everyone can work on, because we're much better off to have agreed zoning, or because we will otherwise be at the risk of having no control at all.
The town hopes that the zoning will ease the concerns of not only the residents, but also any potential applicants.
It also provides them with certainty that makes it a more rational process.
The selectmen went on to approve the drafting of a letter to the planning board accepting the article with their comments. After a public hearing on January 20th, the article will be brought before town meeting in May. For the Needham Channel News, I'm Josh Eilberg.